tourist board hotshot pitches his formula for tapping dancehall's true potential to an international audience. Tonight, dancehall at a turning point and how to get back on track according to Zachary Harding.
Judgment, Zachary, from you see your carbon, then you can know one different from the original man.
TEDx was about showcasing dancehall to the world.
Zachary Harding, another Jamaican with a gift of the gab and ideas to pitch, invited to give a TEDx talk. Marketing's his thing anyway. He was, after all, a deputy director of tourism, and dancehall close to his heart. Brother Jeremy with a vision for Sean Paul back in the formative years, and Zachary, a DJ, spinning the discs of the day. Sean going on to shine, but the platinum era becomes something of a distant memory, which brings us back to Zachary's TEDx talk.
So the whole concept of the TEDx presentation was Untapped. The theme was Untapped. So how do you look at the untapped nature of the potential of people or things? And for me, dancehall is untapped.
Simmer, who got the keys to my bimmer?
We as, sort of uptown people, if you will, tend to look down in many cases at dancehall, but the rest of the world, that's part of the reason why they're coming here. So we haven't really harnessed the true potential of dancehall.
No arguing with him there. The Gordon House gang didn't even know what to do with Bob Marley, much less Shabba and Shaggy, which to Harding speaks to snobbery and prejudice, both equaling clueless of how much Jamaican music resonates around the world.
I worked in government for a couple of years, and part of my role was in marketing Jamaica. And I remember I went at that time to the relevant authorities. I was very excited because as a music man, I was like, this is my opportunity. I'm now going to put dancehall on the world stage and use it to push and market Jamaica. And I never forget, the person in charge looked at me and was like, well, I don't know how far we should really take this, Maybe there's one or two kind of culture artists that we could use, but we have to really avoid some of the more hardcore things. And I understood the point that he was making, but I think he was also missing the point that there's a way to do it. I guess the powers that be felt like sun, sand, and sea was just a way to go in perpetuity.
What's the big challenge facing dancehall? Because we're way past the 90s and Shabba, Sean and Shaggy selling platinum. Afrobeat seems to be the new dancehall internationally. How does it reclaim its commercial clout to the extent that it had it?
What I think has happened is that the computer age, right, and we were amongst the first to really introduce recording to computers. That was Hard Sound Studio, my brother Jeremy Harding. But the computer age has kind of taken the music on a wild ride. Reason is, everybody with a laptop is a producer. Right? You no longer have to be a musician or understand about composition or tones or sounds. In fact, many of the producers, they aren't even making the beats. They just buy them online. So the music itself doesn't have that same feel. I mean, I grew up, 90s, 2000s DJing, and right now, if I DJ and I play a 2000s well-produced, engineered song, there's no song that is produced nowadays that can stand up to that quality-wise. Even if you go back to the 80s, when those guys used to take time and tune the sounds. So I think the quality of the production has gone down, in my opinion, one. Two, while you have some very lyrically talented and gifted artists, the Busy Signals, the Idonias, even like the Skilly Bangs of today, generally speaking, again, the concepts of the song have become monotonous. It's the same gun song, it's the same long tall AK, it's the same, you're not getting like the humor in it, and I've also missed out a lot of the dancing.
You sound nostalgic, but your brother said it really boils down to the song. If one of these youngsters, finds that song and people respond, it's really just as simple as that.
It is, and I remember Jeremy always saying this to me, because I'd be like, yo, I heard this new artist, he's really amazing, you should listen to him. And he says, Zach, this thing is not a talent show, right? It's about management and structure and concepts and producing good music. And so yes, he's correct. You have to still have a hit song.
Okay, let's back up a bit to Zachary, the law school dropout and teen party promoter turned selector, who together with brother Jeremy got into music production, both having gone to music school, even playing instruments.
I played the drums, I played the trumpet, I played steel pans, I sang in the choir. Right? Jeremy played flute, guitar, piano, and sang in the choir. Right? Jeremy was away. He went to music production school. I was a guy in Jamaica in the streets. So I was playing my sound, Syndicate, playing alongside, Renaissance, Stone Love, Travelers, King Addies, Afrique, Metro Media, everybody. And I said, you know what? I would love to actually start producing some of this music. So Jeremy and I combined. He came back down and he said, listen, let's form a record label together. Said, think of a name, Too Hard Records. So that's how the name Too Hard came up. Built the studio at 8 Jacks Hill Road, and then we got into producing artists.
Beanie Man, Who Am I? Elephant Man, Log On. Sean Paul, Baby Girl, a sampling of Too Hard's bigger hits.
And I would literally go with Jeremy to Dynamic and Sonic Sounds, get the physical records pressed, travel with them when I get booked for overseas dates, and then do live promo and hand them out to radar disc jockeys and other selectors. That never leaves you. So till this day, dancehall is still inside of me, and it's what I wake up every morning and listen to dancehall. That's what motivates me throughout my day.
But dancehall at a turning point for Gen Z consumers. Chopper music, the soundtrack to an increasingly violent Jamaica. Taking shot from greybeards like Zachary Harding, not high on the tough-talking youngsters' agenda. Keep up, Zachary. But to be fair, much of his message not directed at them, instead to the usual suspects, oblivious as ever as to Jamaica's true cultural calling card.
We need to go back to quality songs, one, and two, we need to recognize properly on a national level the value and the importance of the dancehall industry. Right? This is an industry. It's not two little people singing some songs and making a noise in the middle of the night so other people can't sleep. It employs thousands of people. Right? You get on an airplane and you're traveling somewhere and you see some people traveling and you wonder, where are these people going? What are they doing? Selector going overseas to play at a party, or artist going overseas to DJ, right? So it's still there, the potential is still there, but it requires structure, exposure. As Joshua said, right? Some of the artists just need the right exposure, but in the right format. And I think that there is a role for government to play in providing an enabling environment for dancehall music to thrive.
But the resuscitation of dancehall becomes another kind of pointless, meaningless talking point. Because, you mentioned Jashi, this generation has a completely different focus. They're not necessarily thinking about the music like how you're thinking about the music. They want immediate gratification, they want millions.
So we are in an age of instant gratification, right? Social media has created that phenomenon. Whereas back in the day, we had to be a lot more patient, build things up. Right now, you just jump on IG or on TikTok and you see somebody driving a new car or having, bricks flossing somewhere, biggest money pull-ups, etc. And that has tainted it a little bit because people are becoming less patient. And you're right, the young artists nowadays want millions, right? But if you love the music, if you truly love it, then it never leaves you. I mean, you're here doing this program still, 20 years later, because you love the music, right? Do you have millions?
I take your point.
All right.
But I think I've already answered that question.
Clash culture, investing in dancehall, and yes, Jashi. More Zachary Harding and dancehall at a turning point next week.
Zachary, easy.